Propel UX would like to welcome one and all to our webinar. The subject of the webinar is the suite of accounting apps developed by Propel using Neptune software. Here is the plan for the webinar. We'll first walk through an overview presentation of the suite of apps. This presentation will provide relevant background information for the app demos that follow the presentation. Here is a quick introduction on our app suite. Our suite of apps has 26 apps in total. 24 of them run on desktop and 2 run on mobile. The apps require Neptune UXP, or any version of Planet 8 DXP, to be installed. The apps work both on HANA and non-HANA databases. Our apps are designed to be part of the Neptune Launchpad, since they share common services using Neptune's App Cache framework. These apps can be added to Fiori Launchpad with minor modifications. While each app is delivered with a set of standard features, each app can be enhanced to meet customer-specific functional or usability requirements that require minimal effort. Let's now take a look at the breakdown of apps by app type. As you can see, transactional apps are the bulk of the apps in the bundle. 16 out of the 26 are transactional, 8 of them are reporting, and 2 of them are fact sheets. Reporting apps include balance reports and line item reports. Fact sheets include customer master and vendor master display apps. Let's take a look at the app architecture. Every app is built with a set of baseline features. Features for each app replicate the functionality of SAP transaction code that the app is based upon. We provide app customization services to enhance each app with additional features, new interactions, or additional data to be displayed. These services are not part of the base price. S/4HANA customers could modify the data retrieval method to use CDS views rather than conventional tables and views. CDS views accelerate data retrieval and utilize the full capability of HANA. The apps are delivered as Fiori 2.0 apps. Fiori 2.0 apps use the Belize theme. All apps require SAP UI5 version 1.60 and upwards. App themes could be modified to suit corporate guidelines. Theme modifications are not part of the base price. Propel could also design, build, and deliver new apps that are not part of the suite. New apps are not included as part of the base price. Let's now take a look at the list of apps available in the suite. Let's run through the list of apps quickly, given the fact that there are 26 apps in total. In general accounting, there are 3 apps: Parked Documents List, Accounting Documents List, and Reverse Accounting Documents. In accounts receivable, we have Post Customer Invoice, Display Customer Balances, Display Customer Line Items, Display Customer List, and Customer Display. In accounts payable, we have Park Vendor Invoice, Post Vendor Invoice, Upload Vendor Invoice Park, Upload Vendor Invoice Post, Approve Vendor Invoice, Approve Vendor Invoice on mobile, Display Vendor Line Items, Display Vendor Balances, Vendor List, and Vendor Display. In General Ledger, we have Park GL Document, Post GL Document, Approve GL Document, Approve GL Document on mobile, Upload GL Document Park, Upload GL Document Post, Display GL Line Items, and Display GL Balances. A quick note on the approval apps for accounts payable in General Ledger. All approvals are based on workflow. Workflow has been set up in our development system along with logic for agent determination. For approval apps to work on customer systems, workflow needs to be configured and activated in customer systems. If the customer would like to use the approval apps but do not have workflow set up, Propel can assist the customer in setting up workflow. This effort is not included in the base price. And finally, let's take a look at the apps that we have selected to demo. Given the fact that there are 26 apps and some of them are quite similar, we have shortlisted a set of 10 apps that demo all the unique features across our suite of apps. In AP, we have Park Vendor Invoice and Approve Vendor Invoice, mobile. In general accounting, we have accounting documents list and reverse accounting doc. In GL, we have Park GL document, Approve GL document, Upload GL document post, and GL line item report. In AR, we have Customer list, Customer invoice, and Customer balances. With that, we wrap the overview presentation. Let's now turn to the app's demo. Let's take a look at the Park Vendor Invoice app. Clicking on Tile will navigate the user to the main page of app. Park Vendor Invoice has the document header section similar to SAP Transaction Code FV60. The thing to notice here is the list of input fields that have red star against the label. A red star against an input field means that the user needs to specify a value for the field, and there are several such fields. You'll also notice that values for fields like company code have already been specified. The value for company code has been defaulted from the value of company code parameter on the user master. The posting date and document date have been defaulted to current date. The user could change the values for any of these fields. This feature is one of the core principles of good UX design. The app needs to minimize the number of decisions a user needs to make. The other thing that can be noticed is that a table of document lines is not displayed on the app. User experience research has shown that displaying too much information on the page increases the cognitive load on the user. The table will only be shown after the user creates document lines by clicking on the Add Lines button. If the user hits the Add Lines button before specifying values for the required fields, the app will prompt the user to specify a value for each required field, like so. This is by design as well. The user could select a vendor ID using one of two methods. In the first method, when the user starts to type the name of the vendor in the input field, a list of suggested names appear. The user could select a vendor from the list of suggestions. The user could also search any part of the vendor name without knowing the full vendor name. All that the user needs to do is type a search string. The app will then shortlist values matching the string input by the user. In this example here, by searching for ERV, all vendor names that contain the string ERV are displayed. When the user clicks on a desired vendor, that value is selected. The user inputs a value for the reference field. The app is designed to calculate the net amount, including taxes based on the base amount, and the tax code based on user input. This could be changed to allow the user to override the calculated net amount. The user picks a document date and values for the rest of the fields and presses Add Lines to create lines. The user presses the value Help to look up a GL account based on the GL account description and selects a GL account for meals. The user specifies the amount and clicks on the account assignment fields. The app then displays only those fields that are defined for input for the GL account. This is determined by the field status definition of the GL account and the posting key. This design is in contrast to the transaction code in SAP that displays all fields, which makes the user think about which fields are relevant and which ones are not. The user then adds the fund, cost center, text, and assignment field and updates the item. The created line can be seen as a row in the line item table. Each row has posting key, GL account, cost center, and a line amount with a green background. The vendor line amount has red background to denote a credit amount, and the balance is 0. The user could click on the vendor details link to display the vendor master record details, like so. At this point, the user could simulate the document. The user could also change the line account assignment information as shown, but they cannot change the account number, posting key, tax code, or amount since the line has already been created. They could instead go to delete mode and delete the line. And finally, the user can park the invoice by hitting Park. This wraps up the Park Vendor Invoice app demo. Let's take a look at the mobile app for approving parked vendor invoices. Clicking on the tile takes the user to the list of unapproved invoices. Clicking on an item takes the user to the Document Details page. The user could view attachments by clicking on the Attachments button. The user could scroll down to view the header information, vendor information, and GL line information. The user could approve or reject the invoice. When the user rejects the invoice, rejection text needs to be captured. When the user approves the invoice is approved and a success message is displayed. With that, we wrap the app demo for Approve Vendor Invoice mobile app. Let's take a look at the Display Accounting Document List app. This app is based on transaction code FB03. Clicking on the tile navigates the user to the selection page as shown. The selection page contains selection fields that allow users to select documents based on selection criteria. The red star against a label implies that the input field is a required field. If the user were to hit the Run button without specifying a value for the input field, the app will set the value state to error. The user then needs to specify and pick a value for the input field. Let's pick a value for fiscal year and posting date, like so. The documents can be selected based on document type. Let's select document type SA first. We now get a list of documents displayed for the selection criteria specified. When the user clicks on an item in the list, the document details are displayed. If the user were to click on the header, the app will display any attachments for the document. If the user would like to create attachments, they could create attachments by clicking on the Attachments button, like so. The user could click on each document line to display line details, like so. The user can display vendor invoices by selecting document type KR and running the report. Clicking on a row displays document information. As you can notice, this document looks a little different. The vendor line is highlighted in green. The account type field is set to vendor for vendor line, and the posting key is 31. Navigation to line item details is exactly the same as GL lines. Only vendor-specific information like payment method, payment terms, and payment block is displayed for the vendor line. On the GL line, account assignment-specific fields can be seen. And lastly, the user selects customer invoices by selecting document type DR. Except for the yellow highlight on the customer line, everything looks and works the same as before. This wraps up the app demo for Accounting Document List. Let's take a look at the Reverse Accounting Document app. Clicking on the tile navigates the user to the main page. The first selection field is the document number. When the user clicks on the value Help, this search dialog is displayed. This search help is designed to query based on document attributes to accurately identify the right document to reverse. Company code US10 is selected. Fiscal year is set to 2019. The user could either specify posting date or document date or a document number. A posting date range in June is selected, and user clicks on Search. The app lists the document numbers for the selection criteria specified. The user clicks on the relevant document number to select it for reversal. The reversal reason and reversal posting date is selected, and the document is reversed. And this wraps up the app demo for Reverse Accounting Document. Let's take a look at the PostGL document file upload app. There are a set of 4 apps that are based on creating accounting documents using data from an Excel file: ParkGL Documents Upload, PostGL Documents Upload, ParkAP Documents Upload, and PostAP Documents. This demo is therefore a proxy for all the other upload apps. Clicking on the tile navigates the user to Selection page. Let's take a few minutes to talk about the upload file format before we demo the app. The input file format can be seen here. The first row is the header row. The first column is the line type, H for header and L for line item. There are other columns like company code, posting date, document date, and so on. The line item fields include all account assignment fields like cost center and WBSE. Then there are amount fields and text fields. AP documents have the exact file format. The posting key for the vendor invoice line is 31, and the account number has to contain the vendor account number. Now that we understand the file format, we can go back to the file selection page. The app has several layers of file validations. Validations are a critical part of user experience. They notify the user that there is something wrong with the file early on in file upload process. Let's look at a few such validations. The first file that we're going to process validates if the file contains a header row. As you can see, the file parser reads the selected file and discovers that the file does not have a header row and throws an error that the header row is missing. The second validation checks if posting keys have been specified. When we select a file with missing posting keys, the app throws file validation errors as shown here. The last error line is output because the app expects posting key 40 for debit or posting key 50 for credit in the posting key column of the file. The other class of file errors relate to data in the file. Let's look at an example of data errors in a file. We select a file that contains 2 documents. We specify a file description and upload the file. Once the file is uploaded, the app processes the file and displays the processing results back to the user. The status of this file is data error. When the user clicks on the transaction ID, additional information like document count, item count is displayed. The user could download the upload file by clicking on the Download File button. When the user clicks on the row, details of each document in the file is displayed. The status of the second document is Success, and the app displays the document number that was created. The status of the first document is Data Error. Additional details on the document can be displayed by clicking on the sequence number. When the user clicks on the document record, the app clearly shows which lines are in error by displaying a red box around the error field. Errors on the document level can be displayed by clicking on the file error log on top of the page. The user could display the error on each line by clicking on the information button on each line. The user picks a valid WBS element and reprocesses the document. The reprocess action has created a document, and user is presented three navigation options: navigate to File Upload page, navigate to the File Details page, or navigate to the Accounting Document page. We'll navigate to the initial page. The file status has now been set to Processed. When the user clicks on the file record, we can now see that the status of both documents is set to Success. Clicking on the document record takes the user to the accounting document. Clicking on each document line shows the line item details. Clicking on the header displays document attachments. We're going to attach a file like so. The user could do the exact same thing for the second document. The other feature of the app is that it allows the user to process files that were loaded previously. This feature allows users to process files that were uploaded by the same user or by different users. By saying yes to the pop-up dialog, the user is taken to the Loaded Files page. File upload date range is specified as shown here. The user could also select files with a specific status. The user could then drill down into each file and perform the same set of actions to fix the errors in the file like before. And with this, we wrap up the presentation on File Upload GL Document Post app. Let's take a look at the Park GL Document app, which is based on transaction code FV50. This app parks the document with a Save As Complete status. Clicking the tile navigates the user to the main page. The company code value is defaulted based on the user parameter value in SAP. Both posting date and document date is defaulted to current date. All default values can be changed by the user. Input fields with a star against their label are required fields. If the user attempts to add a line with specifying for any of the required fields, the input field will be set to an error state. Value for company code, reference, and header text are specified. Add Lines button brings up the dialog to add lines. First line is a debit, and an appropriate GL account is selected and an amount is specified. When the user clicks on the Account Assignment Fields button, only those account assignment fields that are relevant to the GL account are shown to the user. The user looks up the value for the cost center and selects an appropriate cost center. The user inputs values for text and assignment fields and clicks on the Update button to create the line item. The debit amounts are coded with a green background, and the credit amounts are coded with a red background, as seen here. The user then adds the second line as a credit line with the details, as shown. With the second line added, the balance of the document is now 0. Clicking on the Change icon on the row allows the user to change data. The user then simulates document posting. No errors. The user then parks the document. And this wraps up the app demo for ParkGL document. Let's have a look at the Approve GL document app. This app assumes that workflow has been set up and that another user has parked the document for approval. SAP's workflow engine creates a work item for the parked document and routes the work item to the approver. For this demo, we're logged in as the approver. Clicking on the tile navigates the user to the main page. The approver's inbox has 2 items. These 2 items can be seen on the master page on the left. The details for the first document is displayed on the right. Details of each document line can be displayed by clicking on each line. When the user clicks on the document header, the Attachments dialog is displayed. Then the user hits the Approve button to approve the document. The app displays the success message, and then the next document is lined up for approval. With that, we wrap up the app demo for Approve GL document app. Let's take a look at the Customer List Display app. This app allows users to select multiple customers. The app then allows the user to drill down into each customer record to display master data information for a specific customer. Clicking on the tile navigates the user to the selection page. The user selects the company code and then uses the customer master lookup to select multiple customers. The user executes the report to display the list of selected customers. The user could sort the list based on attributes shown. The user could also filter based on country or region attributes. The user could hide columns from the original display list. Clicking on the customer record takes the user to the customer fact sheet. Clicking on See More button displays additional hidden master data fields. The user could do the same thing for the next customer. And with that, we wrap up the app demo for Customer List Display. Let's now take a look at the Customer Invoice app. Clicking on the tile navigates the user to the main page of the app. The user selects a customer using the Select Dialog Value help. User inputs value for the references specified. User inputs amount, tax code, and document type. Clicking on the Customer Details link shows key details for the customer. The user adds a line by pressing the Add Line button. Posting key is defaulted to 50 on the GL line. User selects a Revenue GL account. Line amount is specified, and Account Assignment Fields button is clicked. A list of relevant fields is displayed. Text is added. Since Profit Center is a required field, a value for Profit Center is specified. GL line is added. Account assignment information could be modified after the line is added. User then simulates the document with no errors and then posts the document. And with that, we wrap up the demo for Customer Invoice app. Let's take a look at the Customer Balances app. Clicking on the tile navigates the user to the selection page. The user selects the company code, customer, fiscal year, and runs the report. The customer balances are displayed. Balances are displayed by month, debits, credits, balance, and cumulative balances. Clicking on the credit amount for a period navigates the user to the line item report. The user could then change the list display variant, like so. The user could include additional fields to be displayed, or remove fields being displayed now, like so. When the user clicks on the Apply button, the new settings take effect. The user could also change the sort fields. Only document number is set as the sort field in descending order, and all other sort fields are deleted. We can now see that the line items are listed in descending order by document number. The user could then filter based on any column available in the report. A filter where text field contains string miscellaneous is created. When the settings are applied, only line items with string miscellaneous are displayed. When we change the filter to exclude records where text field contains miscellaneous, only records that do not have string miscellaneous are displayed. The filters can be reset by deleting them. The user could download the report as an Excel spreadsheet. With that, we wrap up the app demo for Display Customer Balances.